It's been a week since Arsenal lost the Champions League final to PSG 1-1, and after extra time, penalties came out, and Eze and Gabriel came up short, and we lost the penalty shootout 4-3. I didn't do a match reaction earlier because I was really annoyed by everything surrounding this match. I mean, I was a bit annoyed by the way we played, by the ref. I will get into it. Wow, Waka. Welcome back to another match reaction. Like I said, it's been a week. There's multiple things have happened in between this week and the final, but the most important thing is we are at least Premier League champions. We had an amazing parade. The players and the fans didn't let the Champions League final outcome change any of the partying. But yeah, when it comes to the match, we started off okay. You could tell that from the starting lineup, we were gonna do a lot of sitting back and then trying to hit them just from Havertz holding the ball up and hopefully getting Saka or Trossard into it. And after 6 minutes, Marquinhos tries to clear the ball. It hits Trossard in the chest area. His hands were in front of his chest. But the rules say if it's an unintentional handball, because this is just a normal reflex, like, oh man, this ball is coming right for me. It's an unintentional handball, which can lead to an assist without it being uh without far interfering and canceling the goal. So Havertz gets the ball from Trossard. He runs, and you're like, "Oh man, I think he's messed up here." And then he shoots it in the roof of the net, and it's a great goal, 1-0 up, 6 minutes into the final. You couldn't start any better than that. And from there on, we mostly just dug in, hopefully hoping to grind out that 1-0 and maybe hit them on the counter where we could. And from there, it was mostly possession for Paris Saint-Germain. They were trying. And I want to say one thing about this early start of the match. After 10 minutes, the first annoyance with the referee started to happen because PSG got a free kick on the left side of the pitch after Saka dispossessed Dembele. And if you look at the replay, Saka just hits the ball, nothing else. There's nothing wrong with that tackle. And Dembele gets a free kick. And it kind of set the tone for how the ref was gonna decide this match and what is the limit and what isn't. And especially when it comes to every 50-50 decision, it was mostly, I would say, like 90 to 10 in PSG's favor. He was letting a lot of their things go and he wouldn't have any of our things. And I was like, okay, ref, you either have to do it equally or just don't do it at all because you're kind of changing the tone of this final now. But like I said, from that first goal, it was mostly just PSG attacking. In the 16th minute, there was a moment where uh, they could have, they or PSG had a penalty shout. Saka tried to clear the ball after a corner. I think he did hit the ball with his left or with his leg, but he couldn't get enough of a connection on it to really hoof it away. From his leg, it goes up to one of his hands and then bounces to the other one, or it was his chest and then to his left hand. according to the rules, if it comes off of his leg and then hits his hand, it's kind of, yeah, something you can't really do anything about. It wasn't a shot that he was blocking, so those rules are a bit different. Look at the Ben White against Atletico situation. But in this case, it was just Saka trying to clear it and not Saka trying to get in front of a shot or anything. So the ref and VAR didn't intervene in this case. You can say that some people feel like PSG are being robbed there of a penalty. But if you look at the letter of the law, it's kind of the rules. So the ref and VAR couldn't really do anything about it. PSG just kept piling on the pressure, but they couldn't really get any big chances going. They really tried, but our defense was really rock solid for that first half. Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, they were kind of quiet. Doué wasn't really doing anything. And yeah, we go into halftime with a really weird moment where we get a corner when where the added on time was kind of at the end. Saka goes on for the corner. They say that we can take the corner. Saka walks to the corner flag. The ref feels like he's taking too much time, and I didn't even feel like he was taking that much time at that moment. And I feel like PSG also wants to set up at least defensively, especially with knowing that Arsenal's corners are really dangerous. The ref blows for the halftime whistle, and everybody's kind of confused. Why are you doing this? He was apparently already annoyed by our time wasting, and he felt like this was a way to punish us for the time wasting before during the first half. But it was just really weird, with the weird moment in the match, and it kind of for me only amplified my feelings towards the ref, him being out of control and not really being a great ref for this final. And second half starts. Mosquera gets a yellow card for time wasting. I didn't even feel like this was really the time wasting he did in the first half. This was just again a moment where I felt like the ref was still annoyed by our first half antics, and then the moment he got a chance in the second half to book any of our players for time wasting, he took that opportunity and gave Christian Mosquera a yellow card when he didn't even have the ball that long at that moment in time. So it was really weird. Yeah, PSG was just still all over us, man. This final was just crazy. We had about 25% possession throughout the final. You can tell that PSG was just the stronger team, midfield attack, and we just dug in, made sure that they couldn't just roll us over. We've seen plenty of teams concede so many goals against PSG, and we didn't want to be one of those teams. So we dug in, and for the most part, it just worked. They had some pot shots here and there. They couldn't really create any big chances, and we were just unlucky a couple of times. In the 54th minute, Saka gets a yellow card. I feel like it was really, really, really tough for him to get a yellow card here because Doué comes in with a sliding tackle. Saka uh, kind of his right foot bounces off the ball and then goes over Doué's leg, and then Saka's trailing leg kind of hits Doué's leg as he is sliding, and Saka gets a yellow card for that. And I'm like, why is this a yellow card offense? Why is it a foul even? Because Saka didn't really really hit him. Hitting him with his trailing leg isn't a foul. At least not in this way when you're jumping over a player. Maybe if it's the trailer leg and you're slide tackling or you're just sticking your leg out behind you or something weird like that. But jumping over a player and then having your trailing leg hit him, I don't know when it's ever been a foul, but this ref booked Saka for it. If he didn't book Saka for it or even whistle for a foul, Arsenal could have probably just went on their way with a counter attack. But now it's a free kick for Paris Saint-Germain close to Arsenal's penalty area, and it was just really weird. I was really getting annoyed throughout that second half. My as we were still 1-0 up, so I was somewhat calm, but from the inside, the temperature was rising and rising, and the pressure was rising when it comes to this referee because I don't I don't get some of his decisions here and why when other players from PSG did things, he let it go, and then when Arsenal did the same thing, he whistled for a foul immediately. It was just really weird and really one-sided when it comes to the ref. That shouldn't be something that happens in a Champions League final. It's the biggest stage of them all, and you should be able to be a neutral referee, give fouls both ways, just put one limit in for both teams and not one limit for one team and another limit for the other team. You just can't be biased like that. In the 63rd minute, Paris Saint-Germain do a quick 1-2. Kvaratskhelia gets into the 18-yard box. Uh, Nkapie was there to cover. He was on the side of the 18-yard box, so there wasn't too much danger. Christian Mosquera, who had to play at right back because Timber wasn't fully fit yet. Ben White injured, of course. He was doing a great job up until then. And just such a rash decision. Of course, he's only 21. He's on the younger side. He just came from Valencia as a backup center back. And he's been filling in really well in center back and right back. But this was just such a stupid moment. He tries to get in between Kvaratskheilia's leg and nick the ball there, but he misses it, hits Kvaratskhelia, penalty for PSG, and you just know they are going to score from that. It was a rock solid penalty. There's no debate if it was or wasn't a penalty. It just is a penalty. Dembele gets behind the ball, slots it home, 1-1. Flares going off behind the goal, and from there on, you're just like, now it's gonna be a lot more difficult for Arsenal. For me personally, I already felt like Mosquera should have been taken off because he gets his yellow card in the 47th minute, 46, 47. And I feel like if you have such a young player up against Kvaratskhelia, you can't have him on a yellow card for 20 minutes and on the edge like that. He should have been subbed off like 10, maybe 50 minutes. And maybe if Timber was already on, we wouldn't have conceded this penalty. Obviously, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, you're saying it after the fact. But I was watching it with my cousin, and we were already surprised that he wasn't taken off even before he conceded this penalty for us. Timber does come on after that because Mosquera gets subbed off immediately. Ødegaard comes off, Gyökeres comes on, and I was really surprised that Harvard stayed on because apart from that goal, Harvard was pretty useless throughout the match. He was making a lot of fouls when it comes to his aerial duels. He wasn't winning the duels at all. So the things that people are praising Harvard for compared to Gyökeres, he wasn't doing. So Harvard staying on and Ødegaard coming off was a bit weird for me. I felt like taking Havertz off for Gyökeres and then still having Ødegaard there. Maybe even later putting Eze on and trying to go for that winner would have been better. But yeah, Havertz stays on. The subs, Gyökeres and Timber. Yeah, Timber held it down on the right side, but Gyökeres couldn't really put anything on this match because he did win some of his duels. He was running about, but Arsenal was just so far back, and our counterattacks were just horrible. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, PSG is probably the best team in the world, but technically we did our job. And if our attack was just a bit more decisive when it comes to our counters, we could have won 2-3-0 or 2-3-1 in this final because they were there for the taking when it comes to our counterattacks. We just executed it horribly. It was just unbelievable how bad we were on the counter. And yeah, like I said, we had some moments. Speaking of Harvard, in the first half, there was another chance he had. We had some good play on the right side of the pitch. Harvard gets the ball. First touch wasn't good enough. The ball got out of his feet way too far. He took too much time, and then when he tried to shoot, it was blocked. If his first touch was better and he just hit it faster, it could have been 2-0, two Harvard's goals, and that first half would have been so much better. But yeah, back to the second half, they just kept attacking, attacking, attacking. But we also had our chances where we could have done something, but it was just so annoying, man. We just couldn't get anything done. There were just moments where we counterattacked or where Saka had the ball and he made the wrong decision, and nothing really came off from us. Kvaratskhelia does hit the post like around the 80th minute, and that was probably the most dangerous moment for Paris Saint-Germain apart from the penalty moment. Gabriel Martinelli and Madueke come on around 83rd minute, and Kvaratskhelia goes off for Barcola. We did have a crazy moment when we had a counter, and I think, or was this in extra time? Because I feel like there was a moment where we could have had a chance where Martinelli could have played Gyökeres or Madueke in, and they messed it up. But it could have been in extra time later on. I don't really know, but yeah, it was just Arsenal during the end of the match. They did go forward a bit more. There was some more space in behind. Bakala did go through one time, but he messed it up, and we could defend it. There were a couple of those moments that happened where Bakala broke off, but we made sure that he didn't score. During extra time, we had Subamendi come on and Eze come on, but most of the extra time we were still defending, a lot of pressure on us, and yeah, it's just so annoying, man. We couldn't really punish them on the counter, even though their wing backs or their left and right back were going up the pitch a lot, so there's space on that side. We couldn't really exploit it, and we were just in our defensive side the whole time. Gyökeres got a yellow card because he was a bit rash. You had, I think, was it there? There was a moment where Gyökeres tried to shoot, but it got blocked by, I think, Pacho. It went toward. Yeah, I think it was in between his legs, and then it came off, and it went to the side, and it was like, oh man, because that shot looked like it was gonna go in. But in extra time, probably one of the biggest moments in extra time that's happened. It was in the 102nd minute. Madueke on the right side of the pitch has the ball. He goes past Nuno Mendes, is in front of him. Nuno Mendes tries to use his arm to get back into the duel. Madueke, his arm just grabs or just goes around Nuno Mendes' arm. So Madueke was running like this. Mendes' arm was here. And I don't know why that is such a big subject for everyone that Madueke's arm is like this with Mendes' arm like that because they were just both running. The way Mendes got into that position was already a bit sus because if you just try to barge someone who is in front of you, that's not really great defending because there have been moments where people do some physical stuff with their arms and the player goes down and you get booked, free kick, penalty, whatever. But Madueke stays on his feet. Then while they are like that, the right leg or the right knee of Mendes hits the left leg of Madueke. He gets off balance because of that, falls over, and because they are entangled, Mendes falls over with him. Everybody is saying, "Oh yeah, Madueke takes Mendes down," but Madueke goes down because of Mendes. I don't understand that, especially with the way the ref was doing his job, the way he was annoyingly blowing his whistle for every little thing. This was something where he could, in my opinion, he should have blown the whistle, but he didn't. VAR also didn't step in, but I feel like if you are on the wrong side of an attacker, you hit his trailing leg, it should have been a penalty. I don't know why the arms are such an important thing in this situation when the falling down of Madueke is caused by the legs clashing and not something with dragging or pushing or whatever. I don't understand it. It could have been a very important moment because we had Jokeres on the pitch who could have rifled it home for 2-1 and we could have held on for like 20 more minutes without a Mosquera on there with his youthfulness and his inexperience to mess something up again. I was really annoyed from that point on, man. Rice was also really annoyed. He kept on shouting at the ref, got a yellow card. I think Ateta got a yellow card as well. But it was just really annoying, man, because I just feel like when you're blowing for fouls all over the pitch, and especially for PSG the whole match, when there weren't even fouls to begin with, like the Saka moment, there was a moment with Lewis Kelly that was blown back for a foul, even though he didn't foul him. And Capie had a moment where he didn't foul a player, and it still got whistled for a foul. He had Timber trying to shield the ball, but because his hand hit Shaw Neves' face, who was running into him, it was a foul from Urian Timber. But if Pacho was gonna come in like that and Timber had his arms at the same height, it wouldn't have hit Pacho's head, and it wouldn't have been a foul, which is like, okay, Timber is just that is that's a natural position for your arms to be in where you're trying to shield the ball. It wasn't him flailing his arms left and right. It was just this trying to shield the ball, and it's a foul. There were just so many moments like that. And then now there's a moment where Arsenal could benefit from this BS refereeing. And of course, he goes PSG's way. I was really, really annoyed with the ref, man. That was my biggest annoyance. I feel like Arsenal, yes, the attack should have been better because we could have ended this match in normal time. We could have ended it in extra time, but our tactics were great. The execution of our counterattacks were horrible, but our tactics in general were amazing because PSG, with the best attack in the world, couldn't really lay a glove on us apart from a penalty. And that means that your tactics work out amazing. He had a moment where Raya had to come off the pitch or come off his line to make sure that Bakala couldn't hit one home. They had some corners here and there, but there was nothing really that they could have done better defensively, at least in Arsenal's way. PSG just couldn't get through it. All their big hitters had to be taken off because they were tired. And then we go to penalty shootouts. And yeah, like I said, in the 120th minute, that's when Jokeres almost decided this final, man. His shot from the edge of the area, I think it would have been goal bound, man. And I don't know if the goalie for PSG would have saved that, but unfortunately, it hits Pacho and it goes out for a corner kick. Nothing really happens from that one, and we go to penalty shootouts. Gonzalo Ramos scores the first penalty. Jokeres scores his first penalty. Due scores, and then it's Eze. And I hate those stutter run ups, man. He did one in the community shield from what I've seen, and he missed, and now he missed again. A player like that with the technique he has, the shooting technique, he should never miss the target. If the goalie saves your penalty, that's one thing, but you should never, as an attacking player, miss the goal. I feel like any player should uh, hit the target with a penalty, but especially someone like SS shouldn't miss. It was horrible. But then Raya saved the next penalty, so I was like, okay, at least SS penalty is chalked off there. Rice scores a penalty. Hakimi scores the penalty. Martinelli. Then Beraldo scores his penalty. And next up is Gabriel, which is really weird because Madueke was on the pitch. And I feel like Zubamendi was there. There were so many more players I would have had in front of Gabriel. He steps up and he shoots it over the crossbar, and we lose our second Champions League final after 20 years. This this Champions League is still eluding us, man. It's really annoying, especially with at least how I feel we should have had a penalty. It was just really annoying, man, that we lost this final. We had so many opportunities to win it. Feel like we had more moments where we could have been really dangerous than PSG had. And yeah, it was really, really annoying, man. And I was really disappointed. Feel like I was disappointed by the penalties. I was annoyed by the ref. I was kind of disappointed by our attacking play. I was really proud of our defensive play. I was proud of our tactics, our will to fight for this prize. And yeah, I feel like the next day, even though we weren't fully over it, we all could at least acknowledge we are Premier League champions after 22 years. Let's just enjoy the parade. Yeah, the women's parade from the Club Champions Cup. So there was a double trophy celebration at the parade. It was a beautiful sight to see. And yeah, we have to move on to the next season. I really loved how the fans reacted when it comes to Gabriel and Eze. I don't think anyone really attacked them for it. Even the shirt sales for Gabriel went up after that final, which is a reaction you don't often see. and we just move on into the summer, see what our club is gonna do when it comes to the transfers, and see what our players are gonna do at the World Cup. For me, hopefully, all the players go out early on so we can have them back at the beginning of the season, well rested. But at least two or three of them will probably go to the semis or the finals. So yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, let's just look forward to the next season. We have to lick our wounds here, and I feel like we've at least shown that we can go at it with the best. 1-1 draw in 120 minutes isn't crazy or isn't a bad result. We scored from open play where they had to score one from the penalty spot. And we go again next season, man, hopefully with a better attack. Because if we do practically the same against PSG and just make sure that they can attack and we attack better, we will definitely steamroll these guys, man. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.